to my tree, inside my living room. It is not finished decorating. I wanted to do black and white this year, but I don't have black and white decorations because I've always been like a traditional or woodsy, or in the last couple years, my daughter adapted pink into my Christmas tree. So I have a separate tree that I'm gonna do pink for her, but I wanted to do mine black and white and like dark green. So I gotta go find ornaments. I already have the ribbon to set that up, but she's gonna come help me this weekend so we can set it up. But for today, I wanted to talk about books. First one is called Amor Actually. It is a holiday romance anthology, and it is from a bunch of Hispanic Latin authors. It takes place Christmas Eve, and it's all short stories, and it's set in New York City, which I absolutely love. This was traditional or indie published, and I found it off of Amazon, and it's like one of those matte feels, and I'm just obsessed with this cover. And Love Actually is probably one of my favorite holiday movies. And yeah, I just wanted to find a book where, it shows Hispanic families, because we can be a little wild at times, and I would love to read about wild families in the Hispanic community. The other Christmas book that I have is How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. I've already chuckled like at least twice, and I'm only on chapter 2. And it's read like a Christmas movie. You know the Hallmark movies where they have like a narrator in the background talking about the characters? They're doing that at the beginning of each book. So, and it's like rhymey. So, the other book that I read from her is one of my favorites. It was Not So Meet Cute, and it was hilarious. Like I was just like dying laughing the entire time. So yeah, I can't imagine this is going to be that much different. It's getting great reviews as of right now. So that's my other holiday book. What else? I am in my, let's see. Oh, I'm definitely like finishing up fantasy series right now. It's just that time of year where I want to read fantasy more than anything else. So I did a reread of A Court of Mist and Fury. I finished it this morning, and I did that because we have a separate fantasy girl book club, and they were reading that book. I just chimed in because I kind of remembered I read it a little over a year ago. Last November, I believe I read it. But I reread it this time with the graphic audio. Let me move over. I feel like I'm way to the side here. But I did it with the graphic audio, and it's so good. And then I didn't tab it, but I stopped at certain points of the book when I was like, oh my God, oh, that's right. And like, I remembered, I just remembered what Tamlin did. I remembered what Reese said, like what happened with the adder, with the water wraiths. What else? The bargain that Tamlin had made, like just a lot of those things I had forgotten about, like the little details, but that are super important to the story. I had forgotten a lot about those. So yeah, I did the graphic audio, and yeah, 5 stars again. So, and I know it's not an author that we love. I know she's a problematic author. But it's one of those things. I already don't talk about Harry Potter, even though I love the Harry Potter series, and it was like the series that got me back into reading years ago now. We just don't talk about them because of how problematic J.K. Rowling is, unfortunately. And I know that Sarah J. Maas is kind of same way. So, but anyway, I did read it. I just won't, talk too much about it. But I am going to start the Throne of Glass series next year. And I have all intentions of reading it and probably loving it. I don't see why I wouldn't love it. But yeah, it's a fantasy series, and I know it's like a well-loved series. So yeah, I'll be starting that next year. Let me know if I should document it or if I should just keep my mouth shut. Like, if you've seen enough about it, there's probably a whole lot of reviews and people vlogging about it, but I totally can. I can just start talking about it. So anyway, the 3 fantasy series that I am going to read in December is The Dragon Republic is one, because I read The Poppy War a few months ago, and it was man, it crushed my soul. It was so hard to read, but then again, it was so brilliant, and the amount of things that the main character goes through is insane. And being inside of her head while she's being betrayed, but she thinks she's doing the right thing, and then you can clearly, you clearly know she's making the wrong choices, and you just want to like yell at her through the pages. Like that happens so much. Like I had so much anxiety reading that book. So much anxiety reading that book. And then the ending was just like left on this huge cliffhanger, which I know that's where Dragon Republic comes in. So this is one of my top fantasy like reads that I need to finish before the end of the year. And then the other one is Born of Blood and Ash. So this is two different series. This is Blood and Ash is the main series. And then she had a spin-off series. So I'm reading it by publication order. There was a video, and I could probably post another video about it, but From Blood and Ash is a series from Poppy and Castile. She's a maiden, and Castile is the guard that eventually we find out that he's not actually a guard. And then basically in book one, he kidnaps her, and there is a greater purpose for her being led to believe her entire life that she's supposed to be ascended. And that's the main point of these stories, that she's supposed to be ascended. And it's kind of funny because I've seen other videos about it. You really don't know what ascended means until like book 3 of the sequel. So it's kind of confusing, but does explain it very well. But it is high fantasy, and there is a lot of information, and there's a lot of things to follow. And I did most of them on audio. But this one, because it's the last book in the prequel from, what's it called? Flesh and Fire? Yeah, from Flesh and Fire. This is the prequel, so this is the last book in that series, and I am tabbing it. And I'm also making like notes and highlighting and stuff in it, because I like when books recap a little bit of what's happening, and I feel like this is what's going to happen in this book. They're recapping a lot of what happened the entire series, but yeah, hopefully not, it's not a lot of it, because it is like 700 and something pages. It's almost 800 pages long. So yeah, but that is one of my, probably the most highly anticipated like high fantasy reads, and I would recommend this series for sure. And then the last one I have is Lightlark. This is YA, so I'm very leery. I have come across the Nightbane and Skyshade books quite often on Book Talk, but I'm leery to purchase those yet, because it's the only YA series that I've really loved this year was Belladonna. And I have high hopes for Belladonna for book 2 and book 3, which is another series that I want to finish, but I don't know that I'm going to get to it this year. But I am going to finish it probably next year I'm not going to get to it this year. Let's be real. But this one, I don't know if it's going to be for me, again, because it's YA. It was recommended to me when I went to Barnes. And again, I've seen a lot of discourse about it and conversation, but I don't want to commit to the whole series and buying it. I'm just not that way. Like, I just don't buy the whole series unless I know I'm going to love it. And I've done a whole bunch of research on it. I don't blindly buy a whole series unless I've at least had some introduction to the book. And since it's YA, I don't know. So anyway, that's that one. I have a couple other books that I want to get to. So Normal People, Daisy Hates, and Wild Eyes, because this one comes out, she's coming out with the new one, the Green Book. I don't remember what the name of it is, but the next one in the series comes out in March. So I just want to be caught up in that. And then this is the one that I'm reading for my work book club, which I will probably talk to you guys about it next time, whenever we go to the book club. But that's all I want to talk about today. I ordered some boots from DSW, so we'll unbox those after work today, and then I will show you guys my little Daiso haul, where I found so many goodies. Actually, I'm going to take a couple things because some of these are for my work Christmas decorating context I'm sure we're going to have. So I'm going to grab those.
thinking of splitting this one into.
Hey y'all, so I know it's super late and these videos for Bookmas or Vlogmas we're just gonna throw them whenever we can. But I got here super late because you guys can see in the clips I had a very busy day, and then I came home to some happy mail from Aardvark Book Club. This is the name of the book club. They were kind enough to reach out to me on my TikTok and wanted to send me a package. Let me show you guys the box. It's super cute too. Like I already unboxed it because it takes forever to unbox. But this is their little box that they sent me, and I've definitely heard about them. I've seen other booktubers and book TikTokers like unbox it. So I'm so excited that they sent me a package. And then I have some ephemera to add. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of things of ephemera that I got. And then the books that they sent me. So this looks like it's a thriller. Like, look at this gorgeous cover. It's called The Lightning Bottles, a novel by Marissa Stapley. And I'm going to look it up, but on the bottom here it says a thrilling tale of music, madness, love, and forgiveness. This sounds fantastic. I'm so excited and I love this cover. This book was actually on my TBR. I actually have it downloaded on Libby to read just recently. So look at this beautiful cover. I'm so excited. I am so excited to get this as well. This is, I believe it's a romance novel. So we will get to that one. And this one looks like it's a fantasy book. The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door by H.G. Pari. Easily my favorite book of the year or read of the year, an unputdownable bittersweet tale. It definitely looks like fantasy to me. So yeah, I'll have to let you guys know, but it looks fantastic and I'm so excited. This is like my first ever PR box that I got for like doing books. So how exciting is that? And then yeah, so for my little ephemera, I'm gonna add this to our little book journal. And then the little, you guys saw the Christmas Nightmare Before Christmas. They gave us free popcorn and a free drink. So I'm going to try to rip this off here. It says Boogie Mix, and this popcorn was delicious. It's super sweet though. But I'm going to see if I can rip this off and add it to my journal. And then one of the charcuterie boxes that I got also has this little paper here. So I'm going to see if I can rip that off as well. And then I won a bottle of wine. It's downstairs. I haven't taken the bottle off, but like they also gave me this little bell for Christmas. How cute is that? So I think I'm going to take it out and just maybe hang it around my office somewhere. I started to decorate my cubicle, little office area at work, but I don't know how much of that I'm going to be able to film. So yeah, that's all for today. Oh, and then I had one more thing to show you guys because I did put it in the little clip from earlier. So I started to decorate just with what I had at work, which were just basically highlighters, but I drew some lights. You can decorate with anything, and I drew a little Christmas tree. But we adopted two families for the office, and these are two families in need. Heartbreaking stories for both of these families, and they just need some extra help during the holidays. So we are going to buy some gifts for them, and then we're going to wrap them, and then we're going to give them to the family. So that's what these are.
And I don't know if I'm going to keep these. I think we are going to turn them in for another incentive thing that we're doing as well for the people who want to do this, which I think is the whole office anyway. But um, I think there'll be some sort of Grinch incentive when we do that. So, yeah, that's my day. I just wanted to fill you guys in and see you guys tomorrow.